friend, welcome to Board for Homeschool. Today I wanted to share with you my 2023 Homeschool Mom Goals. So these are going to be more of my personal goals for this year and the habits that I am building in my life to help me achieve these goals for this year. So if you're looking for inspiration and encouragement as you're pursuing growth in your own life, then let's dive in to talk about goals and creating these habits to help us reach our goals for the year. So when my husband and I were first talking about this coming year and the things that we wanted to really focus on this year, the word that kept coming over and over again to my mind was relationships. I really want to focus on relationships this year. And so I want to focus on my relationship with the Lord, my relationship with my husband, my relationship with my children, and then also just the things that feed me as a human, the things that I need to be well and whole and the best version of myself that I can be with God's grace. So the first goal that I had this year was in regards to my relationship with the Lord. And I really wanted to read through the Bible this coming year. And I haven't read completely through the Bible in several years. And I feel like I've really lost just the consistent habit of having devotions. And I would jump from one Bible study to a different Bible study and, one chapter of the Bible to a different book of the Bible. And so I wanted to have just this set, systematic overview of the Bible again. And so I'm really working hard to build that consistent time with the Lord, devotion time where I know exactly where I want to be studying or be reading for the day and be working through that full approach to the Bible. So that's what I wanted to do this year. And so that is causing me to create this habit of having just this consistent devotion time. And I like the idea of having it in the morning, and yet I'm not a morning person. And so it has been happening more regularly in the evening time at night. And so that has been going really well so far this year. I also have been talking to my husband about memorizing scripture. It's been so long since I've focused on memorizing scripture. And so again, I would memorize a verse here, a verse there. Our church has a verse every month that they are encouraging you to memorize and to be meditating on. And so it's all of these different things. And I wanted something that I could focus on and work through, just having the discipline again of memorization, which I haven't had in several years. And so my daughter is planning to memorize Psalm 139 in the next few months. And so I decided that would be the perfect place for me to start memorizing. So I'm planning to print out that chapter in the version that I want to memorize it, and then review the verses whenever I'm doing dishes. So I'm going to hang it up where the sink is right now, where we do our dishes. So that will be what I'm working on for memorization. And then my husband and I have talked about several books of the Bible that we'd like to memorize together here later in the year, but I'm going to start with just Psalm 139. And then my relationship with my husband, Daniel and I have had lots of opportunities for growing together in our relationship as we are currently remodeling our house. And sometimes there's just a lot of work, and there can be miscommunication and frustration and just a lot that goes into that. And it's been good in stretching and growing, but also I wanted to make sure that there was the fun time together. And so my goal this year is to have a monthly date night with him. And with 4 kiddos, it can get a little crazy. Just having that consistent time. I would love to do something more frequently, but I'm going to start with just once a month. I want to make sure that we're having time together and making that a priority. And so to do something fun. So that is the main goal for me and my relationship with my husband this coming year. Next is my relationship with my kids. And if you saw my previous video, I talk about how I read the book Adventuring Together by Greta Eskridge, and I want to go on adventures with my kids at least monthly. And so I already have the first adventure or an idea of what we want to do for our first adventure. And so it's just a matter now of figuring out when we can do that. And so monthly adventure, I also want to be more intentional about just hugging them and physically loving them. I feel like that's something that I really struggle with, and it's not a natural way that I demonstrate love. And yet I know that my children feel connected and loved whenever I physically hug them and kiss them and love on them. And so I'm really trying to be intentional about whenever I think about it, oh, I should hug her, or I should, put my hand on her back, or, put my hand on her arm, or hold her hand, like as we're walking. I really want it to be just a natural part of life. So it's going to take some intention on my part to start with. And then also, as far as my relationship with my kids, I want to spend less time on my phone when I'm in their presence. And so I want to be fully present with them and focused on them. And so in order to do that, I had started the habit of leaving my phone upstairs. And I have a watch that's connected with my phone, and so I get notifications generally if something happens with my phone. So as long as everything's connected how it's supposed to be, then it's not a big deal to leave my phone upstairs when we're doing life for throughout the day. So that's the habit that I've been trying. I started by just trying to take off some apps from my phone, and that worked really well, except I found myself, instead of going to the one app that I normally would go to because I took it off, then I just switched to go to a different app, and that's just was totally unhelpful. And so yes, so I've decided leaving my phone upstairs is what I want to do for now, and we'll just see how that goes. So then finally, I wanted to work on some things or create some habits that would help me personally. And I kind of broke this up into mind, heart, soul, and strength. And the four parts, the four aspects that I could the headings that I could kind of put these goals under. And so for my mind, I wanted to read 26 books this year. That would be one book every 2 weeks. And I started out last year really strong in reading, and I read, I don't remember, like 15 books or something like that last year. And it was just enough to like, oh yeah, I remember what it was like to read. I remember the ideas and the excitement and the stories and just like how it fueled my mind. And but then, towards when things get crazy during the summer, sometimes it's hard to read. And when you're heading back into school and there's so many things going on, and the holiday time, it's hard to continue that all throughout the year. And so I put a number, 26 books. So far, I think I've already read 2 this month, and so I'm really excited that I'm working on this habit of reading more in my downtime rather than mindlessly scrolling on my phone. So that's been good. And then also for my mind, using my planner. I have this amazing home planner that I got this year. I have the same, it's the Passionate Penny Pinchers planner, and I have a homeschool planner to help plan out my homeschool. And I want to be using my home planner more. I use my homeschool planner all the time, but my home planner, I wanted to have it open and using it to a place to keep everything, so that I could stop thinking about it. And instead of having some things, reminders digitized on my phone and some things written down on scrap pieces of paper all over the place, to have one place where I'm keeping everything. And so that's really my goal, just to help me mentally, to reduce some of the load there. I wanted to be using my planner more often. And so that looks like making sure that it's around or nearby with a pencil pretty much all the time. And so that's that's a habit that's taking a lot of work. I just, unearthed it from some papers beside my bed. So it's just going to take some work, trying to keep it handy and nearby, and where I'm looking at it at least every week, if not daily. But I'd really like to be looking at it daily. So after my mind would be my heart. And I used to journal a lot. And my 11-year-old daughter is now starting to journal. And in the last few weeks, my 8-year-old has started journaling a little bit. And it's kind of reminded me of just how much I miss that. And I don't want to do anything crazy. I don't want to do like a page a day, but I really just would like to write like 1 or 2 sentences from the day. And even if it's just journaling the things that I'm grateful for, or something that happened that I don't want to forget, or thoughts that I have, anything, like I want to be a little bit more intentional about recording the things that come into my mind, or the things that are on my heart, and having a place and a time to do that. And so I have a new journal that I got for Christmas, and I've been doing that. I've done it at least once a week the last couple of weeks, but I'd really like to be doing that more on a daily basis. So we'll see if I can add that into my habits that I'm trying to build this year. So another goal that I have for myself, which is under the heading of heart, is just working on this channel, Born for Homeschool. It really blesses my heart and encourages me and makes me feel alive whenever I am encouraging other people. And I love this outlet that I have, this ability to speak into your lives and encourage you and cheer for you through Born for Homeschool. And so that is just it's just a part of who I am. I want to encourage people. I want to build them up and support them in any way that I can. And so focusing on this channel and making this a priority, because it's an important part of who I am, is something that I really want to focus on for this year. So the next heading after my mind and my heart is my soul. And there's a couple of things that I know that are really good for my soul. One is getting out into nature and making that a priority. So I made the goal to get out into nature every day. I know that being outside is so good for me. It's so good for my mind. It's so good for my body. It's so good for my soul. It's just so good for me, and it's good for my kids. So there are lots of days that I just, send them outside while I'm doing work that needs to be done inside. But I really want to make sure that I'm getting time outside also. So then also time with friends. And my husband has been really good about doing this for me, making sure that I get time with friends. A good friend of mine just had a game night, and it was just such a wonderful time of being refreshed as a believer and just as a person. It was just so, I came back and we'd stayed out, way too late, but it was just so refreshing. And it was so wonderful to spend time with friends from lots of different walks of life. And so I really want to consistently be looking for those opportunities to be a part of the lives of my friends. And then also my strength. So this is the fourth thing, the heading is my strength. So I want to be drinking half a gallon. I know for some of you that's not very much water, but for me, that's a lot of water. So this year I want to be drinking like half a gallon of water a day. And I also want to lose some weight this year. And so I have some ideas as far as what I'm planning to do for that. And I will share that in a different video, maybe depending on how it goes. So I have one other thing as far as my goals for this year. You guys are probably just like, this is crazy. But there are so many aspects of mom life, right? I mean, yeah, relationships, yourself, and then also house. My husband and I are remodeling our house, and there is just so much work to be done. But my goal is to spend 30 minutes a day working on my house. Whether for me that is something like cleaning or decluttering, it is just some way of stewarding our house, or if it's just like building, like hopefully we're having an electric inspection tomorrow, and depending on how that goes, we will be insulating hopefully by the end of this week. And so whether that's like installing insulation in our house, or whether it's simply scrubbing down the bathroom from top to bottom, like I want to spend 30 minutes being a wise steward of my house. And then and some of that, the next goal for my house is decluttering. And so I want to make sure that the things that we have in our house are serving us in our lives. And so making sure that I'm getting rid of the stuff that is not serving us, that my kids have moved past, that's just taking up space and, mentally or, physically taking up space. And so making sure that I'm intentional about only having the things in my house that are really like adding value to our life. So I hope you found this video to be helpful and encouraging. And if you're looking for just regular homeschool mom life videos, every Monday I'll be putting out a video for this coming year on our homeschool, and just encouraging you as you walk through this. There's so many other parts to our lives besides homeschool, right? And I really do want to dedicate this channel to homeschooling and to encouraging the moms that are walking this together. But there are so many aspects of our life, in addition to just homeschooling. Like some of us are working, part-time or full-time, and, we're keeping up with our home, and we're, keeping up with our spouse, or, whatever it is that there's so many other parts of our lives besides homeschooling. And so I just want to encourage you that as you look at this coming year, and, we're only, 3 weeks down, we still have, 49 weeks to go this year. So look for ways that you can be growing as a person. Look for the ways that you can intentionally stretch yourself and do the hard things, so that you can live the life that you know that you're called to live. So I hope you have a wonderful week. And in next week's video, we will be back to more homeschool related content. So I'm planning to be talking more about read alouds. So don't forget to subscribe to Born for Homeschool, so that next week, whenever we're talking about read alouds, you are notified whenever the video drops. So thanks so much for being here today. I will see you again in next week's video.